Hi everybody, this is a video showing you how to take through Design Space the SVGs to cut a lovely compact presentation box for a shot glass and two miniature bottles. This video, there's another version of this video on the channel at the moment. I am going to delete it and replace it with this one, but I'm making the video again because I've added to the download another SVG file which enables you to cut this same box but where the outer box is in two pieces. So previously, the blue one here, you can see that the outer box is all in one piece and you needed A3 or tabloid and the long mat to make it, and a lot of people wanted to make the box but couldn't get hold of those things or didn't want to buy those things, so they wanted the box in two pieces. So I've added that now. It is possible to achieve it in Design Space by faffing around with this one and slicing and duplicating and whatnot, but it's so quick for me to do it, I've just made another version. So this video is just to show you how to use both files, and I'm going to get rid of the old one. Okay, so I'll bring this single piece one in first because it's the easiest one to cope with. Just zoom out a little bit. Okay, so as with any cut file SVG with multiple parts and score lines, the first thing you need to do is convert all the lines that come in as cuts, but which should actually be scores. It's just the way they come in. Any line you make in Illustrator now comes in as a cut. We used to be able to have a little workaround, but that doesn't work anymore. So with my SVGs, that group of lines that needs converting always lives in that first group in your layers panel. If you get an SVG with score lines and multiple cut pieces, and if it's been saved correctly, it should come in three groups. So there'll be the main group, which is the whole SVG, everything on the canvas, and you can see that you can toggle the group open and close by clicking on this little downward pointing arrow here. Within that group, there should be two subgroups, nice and tidy, one of which contains all the lines for scores and another one which contains all the lines for cuts. And so the way I'm going to show you how to do it, if you want everything to stay in the right place in the layers panel, this is the order to do it in. First of all, select the group that contains all the score lines, and you can tell it's the right group because there's no coloured cut pieces in it anyway. You just need to click on the name of the group and it selects everything in it, and then go over to your operations menu, click on basic cut, which is what they are at the moment, and select score from the drop down menu, and you can see that they get changed. And while they're still selected, it's really important that you go back over to your layers panel and ungroup them. That's the first ungroup. Second step is to select the group that contains all the coloured cut pieces, and all we need to do there is ungroup. And you can see there are one or two other bits. These are just the tiny notches in the lid. Don't worry about those. And the last thing to do is to select everything on screen. You can either do that by clicking on that final group in your layers panel, or you can use the select all button, or you can click on screen and drag a box and that selects everything. But any way you do it, once they're selected, ungroup it a third time. So 3 ungroups, ideally in that order, and everything stays nice and well organized in your layers panel. Now that everything's a separate piece, we need to attach the score lines to the individual pieces that they relate to, not the whole SVG. Lots of people, when they're new to multiple piece SVGs with score lines, they make the mistake of selecting everything and attaching the whole thing, and you end up then with a massive project which Design Space will tell you can't cut because correctly it's too big. So what you need to do is just select an individual piece and attach that to its scores. And I think the quickest way to do that is to click on screen somewhere, drag a shape to enclose it, and then choose attach. And then you can see that when you move it, everything stays together and it'll cut and score on the same mat. So you need to do that for every piece on screen that's got score lines, and that's everything in this SVG. Okay, so let's click make it. So if you were using 12 by 24, you'd get it on one sheet. But you're more likely, certainly if you're in the UK, you're more likely to be using A3. And unfortunately, we can't squeeze the inserts onto that sheet. I have tried. You can get one on, but not the other. So if you really wanted to be frugal, you could put one on and maybe cut more on this sheet of the other insert. But basically, your outer box cuts from A3, and then your two little inserts will actually cut from, from one sheet of A4. Okay, so that's the single piece box. I'm not going to cut it, so I'll just delete all that. And now I'll bring in the two piece box, which is this pink one here. So it's the same method to start with. You've still got to convert the score lines. So again, we're going to click on that first group. The second line down in your layers panel is where the name of that group is. And we're going to go over to your operations menu, click on basic cut and choose score from the drop down menu that comes up. And while they're still selected, we need to go back to the layers panel and ungroup. Second step, select the next group, which contains all the colour pieces and the little cuts within them, and simply ungroup it. Final step, select everything on the canvas and ungroup a third time. And again, now we need to do that attaching thing of individual sets of scores to the single piece that they relate to. And so with this two piece outer box now, we've got four pieces that we need to do that with. I've just seen a little mistake there. It doesn't really matter, but I'm just going to, before I, hang on. Oh, I'm on the wrong piece. Right, it's this one. I want this one. There we are. Did you notice that there's a line at the top that shouldn't be there? That's because when I split it, I left it on. So don't worry, that doesn't affect you. I'll get rid of that before I send you the SVG. So you select that piece and attach them. Did I do that one? I did. So everything's attached now. We'll click make it. And you can see that you can cut this box now from two 12 by 12s if that's what you're using. But we can select A4 and you need 3 sheets in that case. Again, these two inserts just won't squeeze onto that final sheet. I did try. Or you can choose letter as well, and you'd still need 3 sheets of letter sized card. So I hope that helps. I'll sort that scoreline out before I upload the SVG to Etsy. If you've got any more questions, please don't hesitate to come back to me. I'm always happy to help. If you're watching this video and you purchased this SVG before and you only got the single piece box, just contact me on Etsy and I will email you the second piece box, the two piece box rather, so that you've got both files. If you've just stumbled across this SVG and you'd like to buy the SVG, please, the contact details are in the description below. Goodness me, I'm losing my mind. Okay, there's also a link to Etsy and Facebook there if you want to contact me on those for help. Okay, thanks a lot. I'm going to go for a cup of tea now. Bye.